There are moments in your life when something deep within you whispers, pause. Don't go there. Something isn't right. It doesn't shout. It doesn't force, yet it carries a weight that your soul cannot ignore. You may call it intuition, coincidence, or a passing thought, but what if it is far more than that? What if, in the unseen realm, a battle is already unfolding around you, and you are not as alone as you think? In the silence of your ordinary days, there are warnings sent not to frighten you, but to protect you. Subtle impressions, sudden unease, unexpected delays. These are not random interruptions. They are signals. They are divine interventions placed directly in your path to keep you from stepping into danger you cannot yet see. While the world pushes you to rush forward, something holy urges you to slow down, to listen, to discern, because behind the physical reality you see, there is a spiritual war being fought over your destiny, your purpose, and your soul. And in that unseen battlefield, messengers of light are working tirelessly, trying to reach you, trying to guide you, trying to warn you before it's too late. Many times the warnings you experience do not arrive as loud voices or visible signs, but as quiet impressions that stir something deep within your spirit. They come gently, almost unnoticed, like a soft whisper passing through your thoughts, yet they carry a weight that refuses to be ignored. In a world that celebrates noise, speed, and constant movement, these subtle warnings can easily be dismissed as imagination or overthinking. But what if those quiet impressions are not random at all? What if they are carefully placed signals, sent with purpose, designed to interrupt your path before you step into something harmful or destructive? There is a divine intelligence that sees beyond what your natural eyes can perceive. It recognizes dangers forming long before they reach your reality, and it reaches toward you in ways that respect your freedom while still offering protection. These warnings may appear as a sudden feeling of unease, a hesitation you cannot explain, or an inner voice urging you to wait, reconsider, or walk away. They may even come disguised as small inconveniences, delays, or unexpected changes that disrupt your plans. What feels like frustration on the surface may actually be protection unfolding behind the scenes. The challenge is that these moments rarely come with clear explanations. You are not always told what danger you avoided or what consequence was prevented. You are simply given a choice in that moment, to listen or to ignore. And often, the mind resists what it cannot logically prove. It questions, analyzes, and searches for tangible evidence, while the spirit already recognizes the truth. This internal tension is where many people lose their sensitivity to divine guidance, choosing certainty over discernment. Yet those who learn to pay attention to these subtle warnings begin to notice patterns. They realize that the times they listened, they were preserved from situations that could have brought pain, confusion, or loss. They begin to understand that what seemed insignificant was actually intentional, and what felt small carried spiritual importance. Awareness starts to grow, and with it, a deeper sense of trust in what cannot be seen. Over time, this awareness sharpens your discernment, allowing you to recognize the difference between fear and guidance, between anxiety and divine prompting. You begin to slow down in critical moments, giving space for that inner voice to be heard clearly. You start to understand that not every open door is meant to be walked through, and not every opportunity is aligned with your purpose. There is protection hidden even in restraint, and wisdom revealed in hesitation. When you choose to honor these quiet warnings, you position yourself in alignment with something greater than your own understanding. You begin to move not just by sight, but by sensitivity to the unseen, where protection is already at work before danger ever reaches your life, and where every warning, no matter how small, carries the potential to redirect your path away from harm. There are moments when a simple pause can change the entire direction of your life, when choosing to wait instead of rushing forward shields you from consequences you were never meant to face. These are not accidents, but intentional interruptions, sacred signals that invite you to trust beyond logic. Even when you do not understand the reason, there is wisdom in obedience and strength in listening closely to what stirs within your spirit, guiding you away from what could quietly destroy your peace or derail your purpose before you ever see it coming, and positioning you safely within the path prepared for you. There is a dangerous assumption many people live by, the belief that if something cannot be clearly explained, it can be safely ignored. This mindset dulls spiritual awareness and trains the heart to dismiss what it does not fully understand. When a warning rises within you, subtle yet persistent, it is not without purpose. Ignoring it does not make the danger disappear, it only removes your awareness of it. The unseen realm does not operate on your level of comfort or logic, and the threats that exist there often move quietly, waiting for moments when you are distracted, rushed, or unwilling to listen. Every time you silence that inner nudge, you create distance between yourself and the guidance meant to protect you. At first, it may seem harmless. You move forward, nothing immediate happens, and you convince yourself that the feeling was unnecessary. But over time, repeated dismissal builds a pattern. Your sensitivity weakens, your discernment becomes clouded, and what once felt clear now becomes faint and uncertain. This is how vulnerability grows, not in a single moment, but through consistent neglect of the warnings you were given. The consequences of ignoring these nudges are not always instant, which makes them even more dangerous. Sometimes the impact unfolds slowly, revealing itself in choices that lead you further away from peace, clarity, and purpose. A decision that felt small at the time can open doors to confusion, emotional turmoil, or situations that entangle you in ways you never anticipated. What could have been avoided with a moment of attention becomes a path that requires far more effort to correct. There is also a deeper spiritual reality at work. Ignoring guidance does not occur in isolation, it affects your alignment with protection. When you repeatedly choose your own understanding over the quiet direction you receive, you step outside of a covering that was actively working on your behalf. This does not mean you are abandoned, but it does mean you are navigating without the same level of awareness and cooperation with what is trying to guard you. In that space, deception becomes easier, and harmful influences find less resistance. You may recall moments when you felt something was wrong but chose to proceed anyway. Perhaps it was a relationship, a decision, or an environment that did not sit right within you. At the time, you reasoned your way through it, convincing yourself to ignore the discomfort. Later, when the consequences became clear, you recognized that the warning had been there from the beginning. This realization can be painful, not because the warning was unclear, but because it was ignored. The truth is that every warning carries an opportunity, not just to avoid harm, but to strengthen your connection with divine guidance. When you choose to listen, even when it is inconvenient or unclear, you reinforce a pattern of trust and awareness. But when you ignore it, you train yourself to rely only on what you can control or explain. This limits your ability to perceive what lies beyond the surface and reduces your capacity to respond to what is happening in the unseen. Over time, this pattern shapes the direction of your life. It influences the paths you take, the decisions you make, and the environments you enter. Each ignored warning becomes a missed moment of protection, a step taken without full awareness of what surrounds you. And in a reality where not everything is visible, moving without awareness creates openings that could have been avoided, leaving you exposed in ways you were never meant to experience and gradually disconnecting you from the subtle guidance that was always trying to keep you safe while preparing you to recognize the next signal that calls for your attention. Your guardian angel does not speak to you in ways that overpower your will or force your decisions. Instead, communication often flows through the quiet channels of your inner life, where thoughts, impressions, and emotions gently rise without demanding attention. This is why so many people overlook it. They expect something dramatic, unmistakable, and external, while the guidance meant for them is already present within, subtle yet consistent. It does not compete with noise. It waits for you to become still enough to notice. One of the most common ways this communication manifests is through intuition, that deep inner knowing that surfaces without explanation. It is not based on fear or anxiety, but on clarity that feels calm even when it warns you of danger. You may suddenly sense that something is off, even when everything appears normal on the surface. There may be no visible reason to hesitate, yet something within urges you to pause, to step back, or to reconsider your direction. This is not confusion. It is guidance reaching you in a language your spirit understands. Alongside intuition, inner unrest can also become a powerful signal. This unrest is different from ordinary worry. It lingers, it persists, and it does not easily fade when you try to ignore it. It creates a tension within you that calls for attention, not to disturb your peace, but to protect it. You may feel uneasy about a decision, a place, or a person without being able to explain why. This feeling is not meant to trap you in fear, but to alert you that something beneath the surface is not aligned with your well-being. The challenge is learning to distinguish between genuine guidance and emotional noise. Fear often shouts, rushing you into impulsive reactions, while true guidance remains steady, patient, and clear. It does not pressure you into panic, it invites you into awareness. When you begin to recognize this difference, you develop a sensitivity that allows you to respond wisely rather than react emotionally. You start to trust what you feel deep within, even when your mind struggles to justify it. There are also moments when this communication comes as a sudden thought that interrupts your normal thinking. It may seem like an idea that appears out of nowhere, urging you to change direction, reach out to someone, or avoid a certain path. These thoughts carry a distinct clarity that sets them apart from ordinary mental chatter. They do not feel forced or chaotic, they feel precise, timely, and purposeful. Often they arrive exactly when you need them, offering insight you did not have moments before. As you grow in awareness, you begin to notice how consistently this guidance is present. It shows up in small decisions as well as major ones, quietly shaping your path in ways you may not fully understand at the time. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes. What once felt uncertain begins to feel familiar, and what once seemed insignificant reveals its importance. This ongoing communication is not random, it is intentional, personal, and deeply connected to your protection and purpose. When you learn to honor these inner signals, you align yourself with a guidance system that operates beyond your limited perspective. You begin to move with a sense of awareness that is not confined to what you can see or prove. Each moment of listening strengthens your connection, making it easier to recognize the next prompting when it comes. The process becomes a rhythm, a quiet exchange between the seen and the unseen, where every intuitive nudge and every moment of inner unrest carries meaning, drawing your attention toward what matters most, and preparing your spirit to recognize even the smallest interruptions that may be placed in your path for your protection. There are moments when your plans seem perfectly aligned, your path appears clear, and everything within you is ready to move forward, only to be met with sudden delays, unexpected obstacles, or interruptions that disrupt your progress. In those moments, frustration often rises quickly. You question why things are not working, why doors are not opening, and why something so certain now feels blocked. What you cannot see in that instant is that not every closed door is a denial, and not every delay is a setback. Sometimes what feels like resistance is actually protection unfolding in real time. Delays have a way of slowing you down when you are moving too fast to perceive what lies ahead. They interrupt your momentum, forcing you to pause and reconsider even when you would rather push forward. This pause can feel uncomfortable because it challenges your sense of control. You want answers, clarity, and movement, yet you are held in a space where none of those things come easily. But within that stillness, there is often a hidden purpose, a quiet redirection taking place beyond your immediate understanding. Interruptions can also appear in subtle forms, a canceled plan, a missed opportunity, or a change that seems inconvenient at first. You may interpret these moments as losses or failures, assuming that something has gone wrong. However, there are times when what you missed was never meant for you, and what you avoided was never meant to touch your life. Protection does not always announce itself as something positive. Sometimes it disguises itself as disruption, shielding you from outcomes you were not prepared to face. It is important to recognize that your perspective is limited to what you can currently see, while the forces guiding and protecting you operate with a far greater awareness. They see consequences before they unfold, dangers before they appear, and outcomes before they become reality. When something is delayed or interrupted, it may be because the timing is not right, the environment is not safe, or the situation is not aligned with your purpose. What feels like a barrier may actually be a boundary placed for your benefit. The difficulty lies in trusting this process when everything within you desires immediate progress. You may feel the urge to force your way through, to override the delay, or to recreate the opportunity that was taken away. In doing so, you risk stepping into situations that were intentionally blocked. Patience becomes essential in these moments, not as a passive response, but as an active choice to remain aligned with something greater than your own urgency. Over time, you begin to notice how certain delays protected you from outcomes that later revealed themselves to be harmful or unnecessary. Situations that once frustrated you become clear examples of intervention. You start to understand that what did not happen was just as important as what did. This awareness shifts your perspective, allowing you to see interruptions not as obstacles, but as signals guiding you away from paths that do not serve your well-being. As this understanding deepens, your response to delays begins to change. Instead of reacting with frustration, you learn to pause and observe. You become more attentive to what is happening beneath the surface, recognizing that there may be a reason you cannot yet see. This awareness creates space for discernment, helping you navigate situations with greater clarity and patience. Each interruption becomes an opportunity to realign, to listen more closely, and to trust that, even in moments of uncertainty, there is a protective hand at work, quietly shaping your path and preparing you to recognize the deeper battle that surrounds your journey and the role you must play within it. There is a reality beyond what your eyes can see, a constant and unseen conflict that is not bound by physical limits, but deeply intertwined with your daily life. This spiritual warfare is not distant or abstract. It is active, intentional, and focused on influencing the direction of your destiny. Every decision you make, every path you consider, and every opportunity placed before you can become a point of engagement in this unseen battle. While you may be unaware of it, forces are at work attempting to shape your thoughts, distort your perception, and lead you away from the purpose you were created to fulfill. This warfare does not always appear as something obvious or dramatic. In fact, it often operates through subtle influence, planting seeds of doubt, confusion, fear, or distraction. It may cause you to question your worth, hesitate in moments that require courage, or pursue things that seem appealing but ultimately pull you away from your true calling. These influences are not random, they are strategic, targeting areas of your life where you are most vulnerable. The goal is not always immediate destruction, but gradual misdirection, leading you step by step away from clarity and alignment. At the same time, there is a protective presence working on your behalf, countering these influences and guiding you toward what is right. This is where the tension of spiritual warfare becomes most evident. You may feel pulled in different directions, one voice encouraging you to move forward in alignment with truth, while another introduces doubt or temptation. This internal conflict is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence that something significant is at stake. Your destiny, your purpose, and your spiritual well-being are not insignificant, and because of that, they are contested. The battlefield is often your mind and your spirit, where thoughts, emotions, and decisions intersect. What you choose to believe, what you choose to act upon, and what you choose to ignore all contribute to the outcome of this ongoing struggle. When your mind is clouded, it becomes easier for harmful influences to take hold. When your spirit is attentive and grounded, it becomes stronger in resisting what seeks to mislead you. This is why awareness is crucial. Without it, you may unknowingly align yourself with paths that do not serve your highest purpose. There are moments when you may feel an unexplained heaviness, a sudden discouragement, or a loss of direction. These experiences can be part of this unseen conflict, attempting to weaken your resolve and shift your focus. If left unchecked, they can lead you into cycles of confusion and stagnation. But when recognized, they become opportunities to realign, to seek clarity, and to strengthen your connection with the guidance that protects you. Understanding that this warfare exists changes how you approach your life. You begin to see that your choices carry weight beyond immediate outcomes. You become more intentional, more aware of the influences surrounding you, and more discerning in the paths you take. This awareness does not create fear, it creates preparedness. It allows you to recognize when something is not right, even if it appears harmless on the surface. As you grow in this awareness, you start to notice how guidance often comes at critical moments, offering direction when confusion tries to take hold. You begin to see how protection is woven into your experiences, steering you away from harm even when you do not fully understand why. Each moment of awareness strengthens your ability to navigate this unseen battlefield, sharpening your discernment and preparing you to recognize the next level of guidance that calls you to respond with clarity, strength, and unwavering attention to what is being revealed within you. Discernment is not something you are born fully developed with. It is a sensitivity that grows through awareness, experience, and a willingness to listen beyond what is immediately visible. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and competing voices, the ability to recognize true guidance becomes one of the most powerful protections you can possess. Without discernment, everything can appear the same. Opportunities may look promising even when they carry hidden danger, and distractions may feel harmless even when they slowly pull you away from your purpose. Developing discernment begins with learning to slow down internally. It requires you to create space within your mind and spirit, allowing clarity to rise above confusion. When you are constantly rushing, reacting, and filling every moment with activity, it becomes nearly impossible to recognize the subtle signals meant to guide you. Stillness is not weakness, it is awareness in its most active form. It allows you to observe what you feel, what you sense, and what is being communicated beyond surface-level appearances. Discernment also grows through attention to patterns. The more you reflect on past experiences, the more you begin to recognize how guidance has shown up in your life. You may recall moments when something felt right and led to peace, or times when something felt off and later revealed itself to be harmful. These patterns are not random, they are lessons shaping your ability to distinguish between what aligns with your well-being and what does not. Each experience becomes a reference point, sharpening your ability to recognize similar signals in the future. There is also a need for honesty within yourself. Discernment requires you to separate your desires from what is actually right for you. Sometimes what you want can cloud your judgment, causing you to ignore clear warnings or justify decisions that do not align with your highest good. True discernment challenges this tendency. It asks you to look beyond immediate gratification and consider the deeper impact of your choices. This level of honesty is not always comfortable, but it is essential for protecting your path. Another key aspect of discernment is learning to trust what you perceive internally, even when it is not validated externally. There will be times when everything around you suggests one direction, yet something within you signals otherwise. In those moments, discernment becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded in what you sense to be true, even when it goes against expectations or appearances. This trust is built over time, strengthened by every moment you choose to listen rather than dismiss what you feel. Discernment also requires patience. Not every situation reveals its truth immediately. There are times when clarity unfolds gradually, and rushing to make a decision can lead you away from what is right. Waiting does not mean inaction, it means allowing enough space for understanding to emerge. In that space, guidance becomes clearer, and the right path begins to stand out without force or confusion. As this ability develops, you begin to navigate life with greater awareness and confidence. You are no longer easily swayed by appearances or pressured by urgency. Instead, you move with intention, guided by a deeper understanding of what aligns with your purpose and what does not. This awareness strengthens your connection to the guidance surrounding you, making it easier to recognize the signals that are meant to protect you. Over time, discernment becomes a steady presence within you, influencing your decisions, shaping your direction, and refining your perception of the world around you. It allows you to recognize truth even when it is hidden beneath layers of distraction or deception. With each moment of attention and each choice to listen, this ability grows stronger, preparing you to respond wisely to the guidance you receive and to remain alert to the subtle ways protection continues to reach you through every stage of your journey and every decision that carries unseen significance. There is a quiet urgency in recognizing that not everything in your life is slucheno or without meaning. That behind the moments you dismiss and the feelings you ignore, something greater may be trying to reach you. The warnings you experience, the unease you feel, the delays that interrupt your plans, and the inner voice that refuses to be silenced are not random fragments of thought. They are part of a deeper interaction between your life and a reality you cannot fully see, yet one that is constantly influencing your direction. When you begin to take these moments seriously, your perspective shifts. You no longer move blindly through decisions or rush into situations without awareness. Instead, you become attentive, sensitive to what is happening beneath the surface. You realize that protection is not always loud or obvious, and guidance does not always come with clear explanations. It often requires you to trust, to pause, and to respond with intention rather than impulse. Every choice to listen strengthens your awareness, and every moment of attention sharpens your ability to recognize what is meant for your good and what is not. You start to understand that you are not navigating life alone, that there is a presence working to guide you, warn you, and keep you aligned with your purpose, even when you do not fully understand the path ahead. This awareness becomes your strength, your shield, and your direction as you continue forward with clarity and vigilance.